Hello, bonjour, namaste, ni hao, and ohio, everybody. What is going on? It is Galeriot here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel once again for another Danmachi video. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Twitter announcements made by the Danmachi Twitter account, wherein they have announced that there are going to be 3 new light novels releasing between June to August. So we're going to be taking a look at all of those things, including how it will affect Danmachi Memoria Freese, the Danmachi anime, and much more. Now, of course, if you guys want to enjoy this video, please be sure to leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel for more Danmachi content, and of course, leave a comment down below letting me know, are you guys excited for these announcements, and are you guys, what do you guys expect from this announcement? What do you guys think it'll do to things like Danmachi Memoria Freese as well as the Danmachi anime? Let me know in the comment section down below. Now, obviously, we know right now this month, well, I say this month, last month we had Sword Oratorio Volume 14 release, and now this month and in May, they're releasing side stories basically. So all the short stories that have come out, they're going to be putting them in light novel format, and one has released this month, the next one is releasing next month. In May, they are going to be, or sorry, in June, I should say, not May. In June, they're going to be dropping Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon Orario Stories. So this seems to be basically all the Blu-ray bonus novels that they give out. So in addition to the Blu-rays, whenever the Blu-rays, release, they always give extra stories with them, right? I expect them to be written in here alongside newly written novels. So they're going to be like sort of like slice of life stories, kind of like Slime Diaries. Imagine if any of you watched Slime Diaries, which is the spin-off to or Reincarnated as a Slime. It's a spin-off to that, where it goes over like mini one-shot stories, if I'm not mistaken. It's going to be exactly the same. So that's pretty cool. I'm very excited to see and read through these stories. Obviously, it's going to be featuring things that we already have read through the Blu-ray bonus novels, and along with that newly written novel. So that's pretty darn cool. But that's not the exciting one. No, that's not the actual exciting light novel release for the upcoming months. In fact, the big announcement was that Danmachi's Argonaut story, the Argonaut story that first released in Danmemo back in 2019. I keep mixing up the years. In 2019 is finally getting published. Now, we already knew that the Argonaut story was going to get published. We just didn't know when. Well, they've confirmed it for July and August. So this July and August, we will be getting the Argonaut stories. Now, I'm very excited to read the Argonaut Light novel, because the one thing that one thing Mori Sensei has done, especially looking at the Astray Record story, actually, the one he published as a light novel, is that there are some subtle differences between the game version of the story and the actual light novel version of the story. So I'm very curious to see if he's gonna make any crazy changes to the Argonaut story, maybe some additions that he couldn't have put into the game at the time, because arguably in comparison to all the other anniversary stories, right, the Argonaut story is a little bit shorter. The 3rd anniversary story was 3 parts. The 4th anniversary story was also 3 or 4 parts. The 5th anniversary story was also 3 parts. So Argonaut was one of the first anniversary stories, right? It was the 2nd anniversary story, of course, and it only had 2 parts. So I'm very curious to see if Mori Sensei will want to, add on top of the already really good material he has for the Argonaut story. That is going to be something that's very interesting. But yes, in July, sorry, I keep mixing up the months, god damn it. In July and August, we will be getting the Argonaut story. So now, what do I want to talk about then? I mean, I've already mentioned that the Argonaut story is coming in July and August, so that should mean the end of the video, right? Well, no. I want to talk about the anime as well as Danmachi Memoria Freese, because I think those two will be directly affected by the release of the Argonaut storyline. And I want to start off with the anime, because of course the anime has ended a month ago now. It's been a month since the last episode of Danmachi Season 4 Part 2, and we haven't heard anything since then. In fact, if we go over to the 10 projects, right, there still is a missing tab. We still don't know what this final project is. They've been very silent on this 10th project. No teasers, no nothing. We have no idea about what this project is. In fact, I thought during Anime Japan, this big convention that they usually do at the end of March, I thought we would have had something get announced there, but turns out there was nothing. There was nothing from Danmachi there. I think they were just there to be there as a stall, saying like, oh, the season's ended, we have some merch for you guys to buy. Have some merch kind of thing, right? but we haven't gotten any sort of announcement for the 10th project. Now, with the release of, Argonaut in July and August, that makes me want to believe that there is a very good chance that the anime for Argonaut also releases sometime this year. Releasing the light novel this early on, when I thought it would have probably been later in the year, is a little bit surprising to me, I'm not gonna lie, but at the same time it would make a lot of sense to release the light novel early and then drop the anime sometime in like December or something as part of the winter season, right? The start of the winter season, end of December, start of January. I think it would be amazing. But I do think that with the release of this light novel and it being this early, I think it's a very good chance and a much higher chance compared to even Sword or Rotoria or even the next season of main series Danmachi for the next Danmachi anime to be Argonaut. I really do believe that to be the case, and I think it's 100% going to happen. It would make a lot of sense, and I really would love it. I think a lot of people would love to see an Argonaut anime. I think, actually, let me know in the comment section down below. I'm very curious to see what anniversary story would you guys like to see as an anime the most. Now, I would say don't include Knights of Fianna because we can't have Knights of Fianna without Argonaut, right? It has to be Argonaut first. So let me know, would you guys like to see Argonaut? Would you guys like to see the Great Tale, the first, or Grande Eve, I should say, the Grande Eve event, the first anniversary we had, right? Australia Record or Vesta? I'm very curious to see what you guys have to say. Out of those four, what would you guys like to see as an anime the most? All right, now let's talk about danmemo, right? We've spoken about the anime, and now let's talk about danmemo, because danmemo is definitely going to have some returning values from having the Argonaut story being published, especially if we base it on the release of the Australia Record light novels. Now, the last time we had something like this happen where the game's story got adapted into anime format, we obviously had the Australia Record event basically be shown. 1 second, there we go. All right, so beautiful. Let me switch over to the screen. There we go. Now, the last time we had the Australia Record light novels released, right, we obviously had a bunch of new units. If we take a look at the album, right, we can go all the way down and scroll down and see exactly what units came out. We had this Light Elise, we had this Thunder Lyra, we had Dark Kaguya, and of course we had Erebus and Australia, as well as the new Ardi as well. So we had a lot of these new units come out, of course, in relation to the release of the Australia Record light novels. In fact, we had 2 units per light novel release. There were 3 light novels, and each month we got 2 new units for the release of the light novel. Now, I think it's very likely that we're going to get the exact same thing happening with the Argonaut story. In July and in August, we'll get 2 new units for each celebration, and we'll talk about who it will be in just a moment, but I think they will be really strong. Now, the only issue with that is that it's going to happen during the anniversary. The danmemo anniversaries go from June to the start of September. They're very long anniversaries. We celebrated for like 2 months pretty much, because each part is like 3 to 4 weeks long. And as a result, we go up until the start of September, basically. So the releases of these Argonaut units will happen for sure during the anniversary as well. Now, the question is, what do you summon for, right? Well, it depends on what the characters do, first and foremost. I think that's going to be the first point I make, is we'll have to wait and see as to seeing what the new characters do, whoever they are, right? It'll be very much dependent on if they're any good for you to summon on them. I would still say for most players, it'll be probably better to summon on, of course, the anniversary units, first and foremost, of course. But if you have any sort of extra iris, go and save up for the Argonaut characters. Now, the one thing I will say is that knowing this is going to be coming out, I would ask you guys to save up your iris even more so now. Do not overpull on the Hero Festa. I'll be talking about this in the Hero Festa should you summon video I'll be dropping later today, but this definitely confirms that you should save up as much iris as possible. Save up like 15 to 16k this time round. I usually say 10 to 12k per anniversary because that's the usual amount you need. You can easily overpull with that. But with the introduction of this Argonaut storyline coming, and the Argonaut light novel release happening in July and August, I would say it's way better to save up a little bit more now in order to make sure you can summon on everything you want during that anniversary period, basically. Now, what characters do I think will come to the game, right? Of course, with the Argonaut release, we had so many new characters, right? We had Argonaut himself, we had Fina, we had Elmina, we had Galmus, Yuri, Krozo, we of course had Ariadne, Orna, and so on and so forth. We had a load of new characters, right, when it came to the Argonaut storyline. Now, I think for them, the best way to go about this is probably to do Argonaut and Krozo, a new Argonaut and a new Krozo unit, because Krozo is actually the only adventurer from the second anniversary who never got a second unit. Fina and Argonaut got their second units the following year after the anniversary, as part of the pre-anniversary to the third year anniversary. They got one each unit each. Obviously, we know Argonaut also got an assist because of the Data Life storyline, right? Elmina, Yuri, and Galmus got their second units because, of course, of the 5th anniversary, right? But Krozo has been, unfortunate in not being able to get his second unit. So I think it's going to be an Argonaut and Krozo that we get first and foremost. I think they're going to be the two adventurers we get. The next batch, I think, will be assists. I think we're gonna get an Orna, and I think we'll get an Ariadne as well. I think that'll be the two new the assists that we get basically for the celebration, right? We have of course gotten a new Ariadne and Orna here as well. We got them recently actually, so that makes me believe it's a little less likely that we'll get another set of two new these assists. In all honesty, I could be wrong there, but if that's the case, I think it'll be potentially Ariadne and Fina maybe. Fina is also another unit that obviously hasn't gotten a new unit recently, right? With Galmus, Yuri, and Elmina getting a unit in the 5th anniversary, I think it's a bit more likely for us to just simply get a new Fina instead. So it'll probably be Argonaut, Krozo, Fina, and potentially Ariadne or Orna as the 4th unit. I don't think we're gonna get a Ryulu because again, Ryulu just got a unit in the 5th anniversary. Same thing with Galmus, Yuri, and Elmina. So I think it's more likely that we'll be getting these units instead for the upcoming light novel release celebration basically. So let me know what you guys think. I'm very curious to see what you guys have to say down below. Like I said, I'm very excited to see where they go from here with the Argonaut story in terms of like what changes Omori Sensei will make in the light novel, if any changes will be made, and then of course what it means for the Danmachi anime and of course danmemo as well. Let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on this release, and thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please be sure to leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy everybody, bye bye.